When you're on your deathbed, what will matter most to you? It's not what you think. The question is, what makes a good life? We're told that fame, fortune, and high achievement is what makes a good life. In a recent study, millennials reported these as their top life goals. However, these markers of success don't necessarily translate to happiness. In a recent study, 72% of successful entrepreneurs reported feeling depression and other mental health concerns. And 55% of CEOs report higher rates of both mental health and workplace toxicity issues. So how about you? Have you ever felt like something's missing even though you have everything you could want? Well, fortunately, we get to learn from the longest study of human happiness that has ever been conducted. It's been going on for 86 years, and it's called the Harvard Study of Adult Development. It started in 1938. Harvard researchers followed a group of young men from their teenage years all the way to adulthood, and the findings are remarkable. It turns out that what makes people healthy, happy, and live longer isn't wealth or fame or fortune. It's actually the very thing that surrounds us all day, every day. And that is our relationships. The study found that people who are more socially connected are healthier, happier, and live longer, while those that are isolated and experience loneliness for a prolonged period of time suffer a lot. The experience of loneliness turns out to be toxic. People who are isolated find that they are less happy, their health declines earlier, their brain functioning declines sooner, and they live shorter lives than those who are not lonely. A sad statistic is that 1 in 5 Americans at any given moment will report feeling lonely. And we can be lonely in a crowd, right? We can be lonely in a family, in a marriage. We can be physically around people but still feel lonely. So what the study finds is that people who are more socially connected to family, friends, and community are happier, are physically healthier, and live longer than those people who are not so well connected. It's not about having a huge circle of friends or the perfect relationship. It really is the quality of our connections that make the biggest difference. Living among good, warm relationships is protective. The study found that people who were most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the happiest and healthiest at age 80. Being in a securely attached relationship in our 80s with people who we can rely on and depend on and count on in times of need, that actually helps our memories stay sharper longer. And people who were not in relationships with others where they could depend on them in a time of need in their 80s experienced memory decline sooner. It's very interesting. So what does this mean for you and me? Well, it means that our relationships matter a lot. And, this is wisdom, right, from the ages. This is something we know from wisdom traditions. And yet it's very cool to see this science behind what it takes to live a good, happy, fulfilling life. And it comes down to our relationships. And, what's interesting is just like the millennials from the recent study, many of the young men, when they were in their younger years, reported that fame, wealth, and high achievement were the things to strive for in order to live a good life. And yet, time and time again, over the 86 years of the scientific study, it turns out that the people who fared the best at the end of their lives, right, in their old age, were the ones who leaned into relationships with friends, with family, and community. That's where all the goodness came from. And so the question is, what would it mean for you to lean into relationships in your life? Whether you're 20 or 40 or 60, what might leaning into relationships look like for you? Maybe it could be reaching out to a friend you haven't connected with in a while, or being fully present with a partner or your children, or joining a community of interest, right? The possibilities are endless. But what we know is that staying connected is what matters the most. When the soul is ready to go back to love, all we take with us are the lessons, the blessings, the memories, and the love that we share with the people that are most important to us throughout the life journey. That is the eternal nature of what comes with us. And so I encourage all of us to nurture the connections in our lives with our friends, our family, our community today and every day, because that's all that matters.